Hey everybody, I'm Seth Macy, the tech host with the tech most. I am joined here by IGN's executive editor of tech, Bo Moore. Bo, how are you?
Hey Seth, I'm doing great, and I have some cool tech to tell you about.
What is that Steam Deck looking device in front of you?
This is the Steam Deck OLED. This is a brand new Steam Deck device announced today by Valve. This is what we would call the definitive Gen 1 Steam Deck.
I want to know, what do you mean by the definitive Steam Deck?
Yeah, so let's be very clear, this is not Steam Deck 2. This is not a new PowerPoint, a new performance level. It has the exact same performance level as the original Steam Deck. But that doesn't mean it's not better. It has a lot of other improvements.
Like what?
First and foremost, you might notice from the name, it has an OLED screen. The screen goes up to 1000 nits brightness. It can do HDR content. Very nice wide color gamut if you are big into display tech and know what that means. It looks really, really good. You know, it's one of those things that it's basically impossible to show on video unless, you know, you're watching a video on an OLED monitor yourself. But I just, you know, I can attest that anybody who has done the upgrade from the Switch to the Switch OLED, for example, can just say, like, it looks so much better. Colors are much more vibrant. You get those really deep inky blacks, and the contrast ratio is what's especially impressive about OLED. Is, you know, you can have a very bright pixel, you know, blasting at 100% brightness right next to a pixel that's fully turned off, and have those bright sections right next to the really dark sections, and not have that light bleed from one section of the screen over to another, and it just makes sure your visuals of your games and movies and everything just look so much better.
Is it the same resolution as the original Steam Deck?
Yeah, same resolution. The full device is exactly the same dimensions overall. It's actually a tiny bit lighter, surprisingly. The dimensions of everything is the same, except the screen is actually a little bit larger. It's a 7.4 inch diagonal, up from 7 inches on the original.
Okay.
And yeah, same resolution as well.
Same resolution, refresh rate.
Refresh rate has been bumped up to 90 hertz from 60 on the original. Yep.
Oh, very cool. How about battery life? It sounds like that's probably going to take a hit.
You would think that, but actually no. So the screen itself is actually a little bit thinner overall. So that meant that Valve had more just kind of room on the inside of the device to make some changes, and there was just simply more room to put stuff in there. So the two big changes space-wise is there's a larger battery. So it is a 50 watt-hour battery, up from 40 watt-hours on the original. And then also the thermals have been redesigned. So it has a larger fan and larger heat pipes. And those things combined with the OLED screen itself uses less power. And then the APU, the processor inside, has been updated to it's a 6 nanometer chip, down from 7 nanometers. Basically, it's a die shrink, so that means it can do the same level of performance, but while using less power, putting out less heat. And so all of these things combined means that despite hitting the same performance level, it actually uses less power, has a larger battery, and so yeah, battery life is actually longer. Valve claims that it gets crazy. 30 to 50% better battery life. In my testing, it was actually even better than that. I did a full battery rundown from 100% on the OLED model, as well as my old LCD model. All settings set to the same thing with, I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, just let the game run, 50% brightness on both devices, everything else set to equal, both from 100% full charge. The LCD model burned out in just over an hour and a half, and the OLED model lasted 2.5 hours. So that's a full extra hour in like a high performance game that burns your battery quite a bit. Yeah, basically, long story short, the battery life is larger or longer in a not insignificant way.
Score. You said it's got bigger heat pipes and better fans, so does that mean it's quieter? Because one of the things that kind of bothers me about, I reviewed the original Steam Deck, is it kind of gets a little louder than I would expect from a handheld device. What about this one?
Exactly. That larger fan and the redesigned heat pipe. So again, as I said, the APU itself, it runs cooler because it's not using as much power. So there's less heat to deal with in general. And then the thermals themselves have been updated so they can deal with that heat even better. So hotspots around the vents are 5 to 10 degrees cooler on average. We did some thermal imaging to test that. And then just like across the device in general, just like where the heat is getting dissipated, you can just see on the thermal imaging, like it's just cooler overall. And yes, nice. To go with that, it is quieter.
I mean, that's a little bit of a bummer for those cold days when you want to warm your hands up over the vent.
It's true. I definitely will sometimes take it and just like in the vent. Do you do that too?
Same thing. I thought I was the only one.
I think everybody does that.
I've lost my train of thought now. Oh, I wanted to ask, so this is the definitive Steam Deck experience. So does that mean they've kind of ironed out like the Windows compatibility or the Steam OLED? Like that was one of the other problems, was like getting Windows to run on a Steam Deck. Entirely possible, not fun. A little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
Is that something they've addressed in this new one?
It is not. So the Steam OS has gotten a ton of software updates over the year and a half or however long it's exactly been since the Steam Deck launched.
It is much better now.
Yeah, I think Valve has said that 300 plus software updates. So just like I could not tell you all of the various things that they have upgraded over the time. But yeah, the Steam OS itself, getting Windows to load though, yeah, entirely possible, but still a bit of a pain. I was told that they are working on getting dual boot support to, not be a total pain. But basically the Steam OS team that are working on the software, they basically have been pretty focused on getting this out the door. And so
Sure.
I was told that that's something they'll be really focusing on in the next year, is really ironing out those that Windows compatibility and potentially dual boot support to let you be able to actually get Windows going, so that you can get over that kind of final hurdle of there's a ton of games, and day by day more and more get deck verified to just run without any problems. But there are those still few things with anti-cheat, don't really play nice with the Linux OS. Stuff like Destiny 2 still doesn't work. You can get other stuff from other game launchers working, but it like takes some hoops. You gotta go into the Linux desktop and install a third-party launcher and do all these kind of roundabout things to get them working. And that's the thing is nowadays there are several other Windows handhelds that have launched since the Steam Deck. Many from Ioneo. Asus has the ROG Ally. Lenovo recently launched the Legion Go. Yep. And like all of those, they just run on Windows. And so they don't have quite the same usability and just general user experience, quality of life as the Steam Deck does. I think that the experience here is far and away still the best compared to those. Yeah. But running Windows natively it does just fix all of those compatibility problems. You don't have to deal with them at all. So it's kind of just, which do you care about more? And the best of both worlds is if you could just, dual boot and have them both running. So fingers crossed that we will see that update, really come to fruition sometime in the next year or so.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I would love to have a little just Windows/Linux computer that I'm, like John Connor at the beginning of T2, just hacking ATMs with it.
Easy money.
Aside from the screen, is there any other, are there different storage configurations that they're going to be making available?
That is correct. You would think that with all these upgrades that I've been talking about, that the price would be going up, and actually that's not true.
That was going to be my next question.
There you go. Yeah, so the price point stays the same, sort of, in a sense that, so with the original Steam Deck, there were 3 price tiers. You had the $399 model for 64 gigs of storage, the $529 model, which is the mid-tier, got you 256 gigs, and then the high tier was $649 for 512. The new price tier, you still got 3 tiers. The 64 and 512 gig models are going away. They will be available at discounted prices while supplies last. The old middle tier, so what previously cost $529 and got you 256 gigs, is the new $399 model. So like that exact one, LCD screen, none of the new upgrades, that exact old model now costs $399.
Nice.
Middle tier price point for $549, so technically $20 more than the previous middle tier price. But that gets you the OLED model with 512 gigs of storage. So double the storage at the same rough price point, plus all the OLED upgrades. And then at the high tier, same price, $649 for a terabyte of storage.
Nice. Okay. And I'm assuming because this is a review, you haven't opened it up to see if it's possible to upgrade the storage on your own.
I mean, it's the same device, it's the same Steam Deck.
Oh, okay. So it's the exact same configuration.
Yeah, everything. Well, I said the internals have shifted around a little because, they've upgraded some stuff. So things are not going to be 100% in the exact same place, but it still has all the same repairability. Like I want to say that iFixit gave it a repairability rating, and it was the highest award that they achieve, that they'll award out there because, Valve has been very clear that they want this to be a device that it's a PC that you can crack open and do what you want with. And on that note, they've actually made it a little bit easier to do that upgradability and repairability because the screws have been swapped out with steel Torx screws. Some of them were plastic before. I believe you've done some cracking.
I replaced the screen in this Steam Deck. We have a video on IGN about that. Yeah, and it wasn't all that bad. It was harrowing, but it wasn't that bad to do. So
yeah, so that process should hopefully be a little bit easier. Yeah, basically some of the screws here, they're just better screws, so they're not going to strip as easily. They're going to they are metal instead of plastic.
Very cool. Is there anything that we haven't gone over that you want to bring up, touch on?
I think we hit it all. I can't stress enough how much better the screen looks. It looks so good.
Yeah.
And you just kind of got to take my word for it. But yeah, the screen looks so much better. But even with that, staring you in the face, it's the better battery life that really sold me on this. The screen is running at a higher refresh rate. It's brighter. All of the stuff I was expecting the battery life to go down, but the power improvements combined with the larger battery, I was really, really impressed with the additional battery life. And for a portable gaming PC, it really makes a huge difference. And I said this in my review, it really puts the Steam Deck much more clearly in that portable category rather than simply a handheld that you want to keep plugged in most of the time.
Right. One more question. When can people get a Steam Deck OLED?
So it was announced today, and my review is up at IGN.com. The pre-orders, I believe, are open now, and it will be on sale, shipping to new purchasers 1 week from today on November 16th. So,
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, get those orders in, people. They are ready to go.
Then they will probably go very quickly. So unless you want to ruin Christmas, make sure you pre-order one right now. All right, Bo, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been busy reviewing that. To tell us about the Steam Deck OLED, everyone should go check out Bo's review. It is on the site right now. We have a ton of Steam Deck OLED coverage. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.